Hey mommies, how are you? And welcome to our Mummies Love video. And today I am doing this video because we have a lot of new mommies in the community that are like pregnant, they're expecting their first baby. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, about the a question that I get asked a lot is about the cost of having a new baby. How much does it cost to have a baby? How much is involved with like breastfeeding? So I get a lot of questions for new moms, and one of the main kind of concerns is their wallet, I guess. And it's because having a new baby does come with a lot of added costs that a lot of times you don't expect. So if you are having a baby, do know that there is kind of like a budget or kind of like some costs that you should take into account, and I'll talk a lot about those, and also about like unexpected costs, which are like big surprises, so that you know and you can plan along the way. Okay, so I'll start right from the beginning. So most of the cost actually for having like a new baby or a new member to your family does actually come from like the pregnancy and the delivery. Most of the chunk of the cost is going to be in the delivery. Now there's two types of, most deliveries are either going to be vaginal or C-section. So the vaginal is going to be a lot more inexpensive. However, a big chunk of the cost of the vaginal birth does come from pain management. So like the anesthesia, a big chunk comes from that. But on average, about vaginal type of deliveries in hospitals, it's going to be, I actually have the figures here because I've been doing the research. So it's usually going to be around $16,000, okay? And plus you have to add to that the prenatal, intrapartum, and postpartum care. So it's going to be around $23,000. However, you're going to be like, oh my God. If you have insurance, then what happens is that the hospital and your insurance, they'll kind of negotiate the cost again, and then that cost kind of turns to come down and down and down, and then you have a chunk to pay, which will usually be depending on what type of insurance you have, what type of coverage you have, and where in the country you are. It's going to be around $2,000. Okay, I have the exact figures in the post that I'm going to put along with this. Now, in regards to C-section, that's actually considered a surgical procedure, so it's a lot more expensive. You're not going to give birth in a regular delivery room. It's going to be like where they would do surgeries, because there's a lot more risk involved. The type of anesthesia that you have to have is a lot heavier, so there's a lot more precautions that need to be taken. So in regards to the C-section cost, it's going to be around $24,000. And the average cost, including the prenatal, intrapartum, and postpartum care for a C-section, is around $32,000. And again, once the negotiation has taken place between your insurance company and the hospital, then that cost is going to be for you around $2,000. Okay, or maybe a little bit more actually. I said $2,000 for the vaginal. With the exact figures, it's going to be around $500 more, so $2,500. Okay. Now there's you can save a lot of money in regards to your birth by doing a home birth with a midwife and a doula. It's a lot less expensive. Or there's also a lot of birth centers that are popping out throughout the country now that are basically births in a birthing center. So they're not at home. You don't have all the medical equipment and medical assistance, but you do have a lot more medical assistance in regard, or medical supervision, than you would have at home. Okay, so there's those categories too, but they're more expensive, really, technically, and your insurance is not necessarily going to cover all the cost of that, and that can usually run anywhere from like $5,000 to $10,000. So it just depends where the home birth center is, or the midwife fees for you to have your birth at home. Okay. And that also takes into account the care that you'll have throughout your pregnancy. Now, in regards to once you have your baby, there's not just you to worry about, there's also your baby. And their hospitals have a lot of routine things that they actually, and this is where kind of one of my biggest tips is, there's a lot of things that the hospital kind of forces you to have that you don't have to have, like the test done in the ear. There's a lot of things that you can do at your pediatrician's office, but at the hospital they kind of tell you like it's now or never. You have to have this done, and they kind of make it seem, obviously it's important, but you don't have to have it there and then. And it's a lot more expensive when you have procedures like those type of tests for your baby done at the hospital. So just so you know, some of those costs are going to be for the newborn of the vaginal care. It's going to be around $6,000, of which you'll have to pay around $600. For the C-section is around $11,000, and what you'll have to pay is around $800. So just so that you know a little bit about those. And some of the other the things that I'll go into are just things to know that you need to expect in the first year of your baby's birth. So there's things like I said, the one-time expenses are obviously your prenatal care and your childbirth, baby furniture, and baby equipment. That it brings up your chunk of what you'll need also. And also parental leaves. That's something to think about. Not all job places give you paid leave when you have a baby, so it's something to consider also. Now the recurring expenses that you'll have are things like childcare, okay? Depending on where you live, that changes drastically. And if you want to do independent care, like have a nanny or something like that, that's extremely, extremely expensive. Clothing, diapers, and also whether you're going to breastfeed or you're going to formula feed, that makes a huge difference too in your monthly expenses for your baby. I've actually made a list of like cost per like month 1, month 2. So go in to check out the actual post that goes with this video, and it goes into detail. But what I wanted to also kind of close with is where you can save, okay? Because you might be thinking, oh my God, maybe having a baby is not such a great idea. This is so expensive. Of course it's expensive because you're bringing a new little baby into the world, and there's a lot of, like I said, mostly medical costs that come along with it. But you can make big, big differences in other things. Like for example, number 1, breastfeed. That can save you a ton of money. Formula can go all the way from $70 to $150 per month, okay? So breastfeeding is definitely, it's perfect, it's organic, it's everything that your baby needs. Another big thing is also receiving hand-me-downs, okay? Moms, I love to give away all my baby stuff when I'm done with it. So make sure you can get like hand downs from other moms, and even go on apps like Let Go and things like that. You can get amazing stuff for like really, really cheap, okay? The other thing too is make your baby food at home, okay? What I would do with my babies is I would make like a huge pot of whatever food I was making, and then I would put it into little portions, and I would put the date and everything, and then I would save it in my freezer, and I would make different ones throughout the week so that I always had baby food available. Sign up for like, there's lots of like Publix has them, lots of different supermarkets have lots of different things for like baby things, for coupons and things like that. So you can sign up for those also, and to receive samples and things like that. And make sure you reach out to friends, family, neighbors. You would be surprised, honestly, how many people want to help out with just taking care of your baby. People love babies. So just taking care of your baby or coming over at home to help you, they love being involved with like things that involve your baby. So reach out to friends and family and neighbors and people that are around, and you can save a ton of money on like childcare and things like that. So that's a big, big portion of a lot of the cost also that goes along with babies. So share some of your stories. What are things that you saved on, or like unexpected costs that you have? How are you able to tackle them? So we can share with the other mommies, and we can kind of encourage and motivate each other to keep on going throughout our motherhood journey and our breastfeeding journeys. Bye mommies, besitos.